Is that siren coming for you, Nige?
It's from Birmingham, maybe.
It's us, once again, in our favourite place. I'm going to film a little videoette today. Excuse me. We were called in to look at a job where the homeowner wanted a light hung. That was all. That was all.
Yep.
However, they then proceeded to show us their new consumer unit, which they weren't very impressed with, because they weren't sure what was going where. And we had a closer look at it, and we had a closer look at the paperwork, and we had a few concerns of our own. So we're going to go there today. We're going to perform an EICR. I mean, that's something in itself, isn't it? The fact that we're coming in to perform an EICR on a job that a new consumer unit's been installed in, because someone has supposedly already done an EICR, but the homeowner doesn't know what's what, where it goes, how it works. There's something basically wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll go there now and do that, I guess.
Okay.
On your instructions, Dave. Testing.
Verso board. You ever seen a Verso board before, Nige?
Never heard of Verso.
They've got a YouTube channel, actually. I do like a manufacturer who has a YouTube channel who talks about their products, so do go check them out. We've not fitted a Verso, just because they're not on the shelf at cities.
Simple.
We like to put in, well, not that we buy our boards from cities, because we put in SBS boards, don't we?
We do.
Not that we put in many boards. We only do a handful a year. But yeah, we get ours from SBS. I presume Verso are from one of the independents. We don't tend to use, so there's only one independent around here. We don't tend to use them. But yes, decent enough brand. You were asking whether it's a rebranded fuse box, weren't you? But
yeah, the fuse blanks.
I don't think so. I think they do look different. They've actually got fuse box blanks in here.
Yeah, that's why I did ask. Yeah.
Now you notice the labelling is interesting. Sockets, shower, spur, lights. Spur's been sort of written on in pencil. That doesn't fill one with confidence. Doesn't really explain what any of that does it? Which is why the homeowners come along and stuck on these labels trying to figure out what on earth's going on. Nothing? Apparently these don't seem to have any effect on anything. We'll see about that. Everything. Lights and sockets, B32. Kitchen, back lounge, lights and sockets, B20. Interesting. Now, the thing is with this place, this isn't something that's been inherited. It's not like the homeowners bought this place and they've got something here that the last owner put in. This is something that's been put in after they bought the place. So they've got pictures of what was here. We had, I think, a 3036 board here with a couple of satellite boards that have been added on over the years. So if this is something that's been put in for the current homeowners, how is it that the current homeowners don't know what is what? Because the paperwork for this and the labelling ought to reflect exactly what is what. And when we came here before, we had a condition report. We'll pass that schedule over. Circuit 1 is listed as radial circuit. I presume that's a socket circuit. Weird that it's just listed as radial circuit on the schedule. Circuit 2 is cooker. It's actually labelled as sockets. Circuit 3 is labelled as ring circuit on the schedule, so that's probably that. Circuit 4 is shower, fine. Circuit 5, radial circuit again.
Nothing like that.
It just says spur on here. Now I'm sure that's going to a socket somewhere, but listing it as just as radial circuit on the schedule, no, that's nonsense, just nonsense. Circuit 6 isn't listed at all. It's not on the schedule. And neither's the SPD.
Circuit 11 hasn't got SPD on it.
No, so there's a protective device there for the SPD, but it's not on the schedule. So this we did wonder when we first saw this whether it was a schedule for something that was here before, because this was an EICR, rather than reflective of what's in here now. However, if you'd like to pass me that schedule, Nigel. An EIC has since been issued and it's exactly the same.
So it's just duplicated.
Yeah, the circuit listing is exactly the same. The numbers on this, I would expect that off-scale high 999 insulation resistance on a brand new wiring. But we've got it 999 line to neutral on every circuit. Now, who on an EICR does an IR test line to neutral?
On every circuit.
You do it on a circuit where you know for damn sure that there's no loads connected, but a lot of the time, especially with lighting, if you've got downlight arrangements, transformers, dimmers, you're just not going to wire it all out, are you?
We're just in the kitchen alone. There's 6 low voltage lights in there.
Well, there you go. I mean, do we really think that they've gone and switched on the lights and wired everything out in order to get an IR reading, which has then come out as perfect? No, these numbers are made up. And if you can't trust the IR numbers, what else can you trust on here? Ring, end to end. We've got one ring circuit, it says here, which presumably covers the house. R1 0.12, Rn 0.12, R2 0.2. These numbers are way too low for a ring of that length. Yeah. If that ring were just covering this room, I would expect those kind of numbers. Covering the house
and kitchen.
Nah. Well, we're going to do some tests today. Maybe our tester will concur, and maybe it won't. I'm guessing not. Or if it does, there's something basically wrong there, isn't there? There's a figure 8 in it or something, or some kind of localized nonsense going on. So we have here a failure of the paperwork and a failure of the labelling, because this doesn't match up, and the homeowner's been left with trying to figure out what on earth's going on. And these are the people who appointed this person for the work. But also the fact that there's an EICR here is interesting, because it is a legitimate contractor who's done this, but they're on the NIC DI scheme, and they're not accredited for EICRs, not accredited for inspection work, according to NICIC. I did a lookup. So what are they doing? Providing condition reports.
When they're not.
Exactly.
When they're not accredited to be providing condition reports. And I don't know if I think the DI scheme has changed a bit so that you can be on the DI scheme and provide condition reports if you've been through additional assessment criteria, if you meet additional assessment criteria through NIC. I'm not sure, because it used to be the case that the guidance for DIs said you can't do condition reports. Certainly, to be on the NIC scheme doing condition reports, you have to have your test and inspect qualifications, you have to have your professional indemnity insurance. And if this guy is not on the record with NIC as being an inspector, does he have that stuff?
Yeah.
Probably not. So condition report's a problem. The fact that the certificate paperwork matches what's on the condition report, which doesn't match what's here, is a problem.
If they don't have the liability, could become a problem. So.
It could be. But interestingly as well, the condition report doesn't list any problems, and it says the installation is satisfactory. However, that's an interesting thing, isn't it?
It is an interesting thing.
Apparently,
I thought it was
this protective deodorant cap. I'm not sure the IET recognise a deodorant cap as a form of protection. Apparently this goes with a bit of a bang when pressed.
Could it be additional protection?
Oh, we got nothing to that.
Thank goodness for that. I hate things that go bang. But again, maybe that's been disconnected then. But there's certainly an electrical fault there, or at least an electrical fault has been identified there. Doesn't seem to be present at the moment, so maybe it's been isolated at the switch.
Either it's isolated or it's had its
I
arse
think
blown out.
once you expose the board and the switch and start looking at the circuits, then we can start getting underneath what's going on. But
the trouble with that is still, it's a breakdown of communication, isn't it? Because either there's a fault there and it's just not showing at the moment, or it's been made safe. But as far as the homeowner is concerned, they're worried about there being a fault there, because they take the deodorant cap over it to prevent anyone accidentally pressing the switch.
That would be worrying anyway.
Yeah, so is there an overload fault present on site or not? We're going to have a look at that and see what's going on there. You guys have been doing the functional testing, haven't you? Has anything cropped up on that?
A few extension leads with too heavy load on.
No, it's really... The main one is the socket FCU that also does the under cabinet lights.
Let's go and have a look at that, shall we?
if you turn off the under cabinet lights, your washing machine doesn't work.
Let's go and have a look at that. That's a rather spiffing splashback, isn't it? I like that. Nice tiles.
It is this one.
So that FCU there does the
Under cab
lights.
Yeah.
But it also does a spur for the washing machine.
Socket.
There's a socket in there, is there? So you've got to have the under cab lights on for the washing machine to work.
Yeah.
Marvellous. Oh, where are my tools? I haven't got my tools out yet. I got spam sandwiches for lunch today, Nige. What do you think about that?
Spam.
Actual spam.
Spam.
Are you spam smo because you don't have spam sandwiches?
Spam.
Let's get the front off this board. Did you want to go and pop some roses off, Chief? Or something? Yeah, marvellous. Okay. We'll let you do that while we come into here. What the fuck is it?
I don't know. I thought he was one of your mates.
I thought
he was one of the rider.
I thought he was with you.
No, he's not with me.
I recognise him from somewhere. I can't fucking picture where.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought he was the latest rider.
Shit, this is embarrassing. We can't ask him now, can we? He's been with us for an hour. He'll come back to me. Don't worry. I'm sure I've had a pint with him before. Probably 1 pint too many. That's why I can't remember. Single circuit, ring, single circuit. Nothing doubled up or anything.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. We've seen worse.
Oh yeah, a lot worse. So we're going to start at
Well,
the
that's
oscillator end, and
yeah, I suppose. What was this is just listed as radial circuit, wasn't it? It's B20, and the homeowner has listed it as kitchen, back lounge, lights and sockets. If you make sure whoever he is isn't elbows deep into something, we'll put the power back onto that circuit and see what it does.
okay. Right.
Turned on this B20, listed as just a radial circuit in the ever helpful scheduler test results.
Looks like it might be to this subboard.
Ah, yes. Now that's another thing you see. There's a subboard here, which isn't mentioned at all on that EICR. How can you have an EICR
It doesn't mention
that doesn't cover the... There's no limitations on it. Is that socket live?
I don't know yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it seems here is separate from the ring.
So
It's got to be that board then, hasn't it?
yeah. So if I turn lights there.
So it's got a board.
I wonder why they've done it as a B20 then, if it's a 6mm serving a subboard.
Yeah.
Because you've got a B32 here, downstream, so...
Yeah, it's not exactly
Do you want
protecting.
to move the lid?
Cheers.
You need a bigger one, does it? Is that your 6mm?
It is. Let's have that back on then.
So the 6mm between the two circuits, then lighting and.
So that just feeds this little area on. Like I say, I'm going to have a quick run.
This looks like a
upstairs.
ring as well.
Yeah.
Right. What have we got here, mate?
Right, that's metal.
So you see, this again. The schedule labels this as cooker,
Yeah.
but it's clearly not the cooker. It's a socket serving the extractor fan, and that appears to be all it is.
Yeah.
So
that's a repurpose.
Because it's not the hob. The hob's gas, and that's plugged in elsewhere.
It's off the socket.
Yeah.
It's not the oven.
So everything in the house is on that one circuit for all the socket radial ring circuit, which does all the fuses.
Well, there is another one labelled as radial circuit,
Okay.
which may be something else. But it looks like that is just the high level power, this 6mm cable. So that probably was an original cooker circuit that someone's cut off up there.
Would it be worth an investigation?
Yeah, we'll be opening that up.
Off, yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet. Then.
Not yet.
Okay.
Soon, but not yet. Let's put that on and see what that does.
That's nice.
Okay. This is a B32. Oh wow, it's doing lights in here as well.
These lights on, I've got to get upstairs.
How are all these lights hanging off the ring?
Lights upstairs.
This is a problem.
This is a problem.
Yeah. What's going on here?
All your sockets have come on as well.
And remember that the ring readings were like 0.21. It's like, okay. Yeah, wow, eh?
Yeah.
The lights on upstairs?
All the lights upstairs and the extraction fan.
So the lights have been shoehorned into the ring.
We have to figure out where.
But we need to find out what's off that ring, like socket-wise.
I think, yeah, it's probably going to be... Yeah, please do. I think it's going to be pretty much everything, isn't it? Apart from the extension. Now you see you've got old light wiring here. You've got these singles. What's going on earth there? That's bonkers. I mean, we've got a light circuit here. Circuit 6. What's that doing? You have to take that a moment.
Yeah, I was just going to say, see if that's not it.
Let's just check that this isn't being backfed. No.
No.
No. That is a problem. That's a hell of a thing.
We need to figure out.
Now, again, yeah, it's not...
That's that fuse breaker does all the sockets upstairs, apart from the one on the landing.
And it does all the lights as well?
And there's 2 wall lights in the back bedroom. That's just off a switch directly to the lights. There's no fuse connected.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right.
There is fuse next to the back bedroom. It's low down near the.
This isn't necessarily a problem if there's some kind of fusing down somewhere. It's not ideal like the lights and the sockets are all
As you walk in,
together, because obviously you get a trip and you're losing everything pretty much. But if the lights are fused down somewhere, then at least
well, leave that on. I
they're
know
protected.
Where there's a fuse.
You know where there's a fuse?
I do. Leave that on for a second.
Let's go see Nigel's fuse.
Oh, that's the lights then.
Well, that's...
Bathroom.
What's that just taken out? The bathroom?
Bathroom lights. All these lights up here.
Right, so that's taken out.
That's upstairs lights.
Size brick fuses.
Apart from this one, obviously.
Still fed by a 13 amp fuse.
Oh yeah. No one ever bothers to change the bloody fuse. So that fuse is doing all the upstairs lights?
Yeah, except for landing.
Except for landing. So I wonder if there's something similar downstairs.
Let's go and find it. If there is.
You'll know it's live then.
We've got a picture of the original installation, which I'm putting on the screen right now. And
it's about the same age.
You got the original 3036 board, which has a blue carrier for water heater and 2 red carriers, sockets and cooker, we're thinking. So it looks like it never did have lights. The second 2 boards that have been added in the 80s, they're definitely the one on the left's for shower. I don't know about the one on the right because you can't see inside that. And also that fuse that you were looking at upstairs, mate, that looks original to the house, doesn't it? So it does look like the lighting was always perhaps run off the sockets and fused down, one locally upstairs and one downstairs. Taking that, and this is what's coming off the 6 amp breaker.
So that's not the rest of
Look at that, that's not very professionally done, is it? You got basic insulation exposed there. So we've still got this mystery of what this 6 amp is doing here. Singles, obviously lighting, but how was the ground floor lights ever fused down?
Yeah.
That's what we don't know. But if it were built that way, there's got to be something somewhere that we're just not seeing. And it's very unusual. I've not seen one built like that before.
I mean, even boards go right back to the 50s. They've always had their own lighting, so its own circuitry.
Weird, isn't it?
It's been on 5 amps.
Look what Matey just found. A lighting fuse.
Right.
These are definitely original to the house, aren't they? What a bizarre setup.
We've got.
They built a house without proper independent lighting circuit. Madness.
Unusual one. Never seen one like that.
No, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's glazy. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which will split this task. So that should be shower. If you'd like to go and verify the shower, Chief. And the one after that is just listed as radial circuit. 16 amp.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scratcher. Yes.
Shower on. Okay. At least something straightforward. The next one is labelled as radial circuit, 16 amp, which on the board here has been written as spur, and the homeowner has found
Nothing.
So
Let's go around all the sockets.
let's have that on.
The colour cable coming out.
It's old colours. 2.5. There's got to be a socket somewhere.
Heating control in the loft in the cupboard. So I'm gonna check that.
Old immersion heater circuit. Yeah, I reckon. Right, so that's central heating. Weird then that it's just listed as radial circuit and listed on the board as spur. I mean, if you've done an EICR on a place, you must know what's going where.
All the pipes are bonded onto the trailer.
And you'd think that, you know, when you come across a single 2.5 circuit somewhere, your immediate thought is going to be old immersion circuit, especially as you're upgrading an installation that has a 3036 board with a blue fuse carrier, because that is an immersion circuit.
Well, common sense is on any installation like this, a board change, you do all your testing and verification of circuits before you even change the board, so you know what you're going into.
You're right, boss. Right, let's knock that off. Last but not least, what is that doing? This isn't even listed at all. Going into singles, obviously lighting. But which lighting? Still trying to find what this light circuit's doing. It's not doing that. And it's not doing that. That's an interesting thing, isn't it? Internal junction box on an external wall. Be interesting to see if that goes live and on what. Because again, you know, if that is live, how did that ever get past the EICR? We've got it.
Have you found it?
Yeah.
So this has been made safe in that they've disconnected the switch. However, we don't know that there's an electrical fault on there, do we?
Yeah.
So it's doing the wall lights where it's supposed to be, but we need to find out if there really is an electrical fault on that. But obviously the installation's not right, is it? As you say, it's coming through the
rear of the
knockout box without any kind of grommet.
So I reckon, because if you look at the depth of that and the depth of that,
What the cable's going towards this switch, but we know this is on a different circuit, so that's.
so have you isolated that?
No, I've isolated that.
Right, so we've got an array of wires.
Oh wow, what's going on here?
Is that black?
No, we've got. Let me lift them out. So.
But that's on a different circuit.
So is it common neutrals here?
Oh, I see what they've done. Look at this. They've, for some bizarre reason, they've taken a feed off a different circuit. This is why it's tripping. This is why it's.
Yeah.
This is off the 6 amp. These singles.
Yeah.
This is off your 32. Off your socket circuit, isn't it? Because this is doing.
They're touching.
They've taken a feed from the 32 circuit.
So you've got your neutrals.
Connected it to the 6. And then when they've turned on the wall lights, it's tripped off the RCBOs.
So we found the problem.
So that's the fault.
Yeah.
That's moronic.
It is moronic.
Should we drop this off?
Why would you wire in a 6 amp RCBO without knowing what it does?
That there, in that case then.
If you were to just wire those two into the switch and get rid of that,
so really,
those wall lights would probably work.
That leg there is going through to there.
Is that all that's doing? Is that just one single cable going through?
Yeah, it's just
All right.
bypass the switch, lights work. So there's no electrical fault there. The electrical fault was how it was wired in. They cross-connected 2 circuits.
Yeah, 32 and the 6.
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
So let's get that power back off. So that's bad, isn't it? So someone did an EICR here and didn't spot that there were 2 circuits cross-connected, and then proceeded to wire it all in. Wow. Okay. Wall lights. So we kind of know what's where now, don't we? In that we've got DB2 in the kitchen. As circuit 1, circuit 2 is the kitchen extractor. Circuit 3 is all sockets and lighting, it seems, which is fucking bizarre. But the place seems to have been built that way. Circuit 4 is the shower. Circuit 5 central heating. Circuit 6 wall lights. Put a lounge on that. What we'll do now is our actual testing and inspecting.
This guy talks a lot.
Have you worked out who he is yet?
I don't know who he is. All I know is he won't shut the fuck up.
Fucking hell, yeah.
You can hear him now. It just every time
Should we fuck off down the pub and just leave him?
we just leave it. I don't know who the fuck he is.
Well, whoever he is, he's keeping the homeowners occupied.
Yeah.
So we're going to start pulling things apart, getting testing and inspecting done, and I can tell you now that no way are we going to get 999 across the board on all our numbers.
No.
For a start, because I'm going to be using my Mega, and 250 volts that only goes up to 99.9 anyway, but that's enough for me. Matey here has taken off the extraction socket, which is 6mm at the other end. Looks like an old cooker circuit. Well, it would have been an old cooker circuit.
If that was the original position of the cooker.
But here we've got a 2.5.
So
it's not going off anywhere else. The thing is that there's got to be a junction somewhere to take it from 6mm to 2.5.
It's hidden in the wall, probably on the tiles, which we're not going to move.
32 amp. But why would you do a 32 amp?
Yeah, it's a 16 or 20 at the most.
Yeah, if you you can have a 2.5 on a 32 amp because Appendix
As a spare.
6 permits that as a spur arrangement. Yeah.
But then it depends on the distance you run on that.
Yeah, but again, if you did the EICR and you saw that that circuit was coming down to 2.5 and feeding 1 point in here, you'd think, okay, well, it doesn't need to be on a 32. We can put that on a 16.
And it's only feeding what a device that, if that is the only device on that circuit, that's only feeding something like no more than 5 amp current, really.
Okay, well, we'll get Nige down with the Metral to get a number out of that. He's currently working on the shower.
0.21, mate.
Sorry?
0.21.
0.21 on the shower. 0.21.
Yeah, that's from the shower. I'm just checking the connections.
Jolly good.
It's bonus, mate.
All right, for some minute. Old matey here has got himself a cuppa. We haven't got a cuppa, have we?
Sweet talking, you know.
Because we're the real boys.
Well, that's
all that customer training in interfacing I've had to do all over the years.
If you'd like to take that. What we're going to do now is going to get the ring end to ends off this ring circuit. This ring circuit, which also serves lights. Numbers on this previous report are 0.12 for R1, 0.12 for RN, 0.2 for R2. Those numbers cannot be correct. They cannot be correct.
Well, they could be correct at the board, but that means something's wrong.
Yeah, whichever way you look at it. If we get the same numbers, there is a problem with that ring because it's too big for the resistance to be that low. If we get completely different numbers, then it makes you wonder what the hell this other guy was ever measuring. But you know what?
To carry out in the EICR properly.
0.18. Looks like his numbers are correct in that's what's presented here at the board. Shit.
Someone didn't use their brain and think, hang on, that's not right.
If that's 0.18 then, Dave.
Shit. Why can't they make fecking clips that actually hold on to the fecking
wires?
wires?
Out there, make decent clips.
That's not
get them spread out, and you're onto a win.
You reckon there's a figure? You think there's a crossover somewhere?
It's got to be something out there. The
ring.
You've
got figure 8 somewhere, haven't you?
Well, either that or this ring serves a very small area, and then you've got something, I don't know, spurring off it, spidering off it.
I suppose the only way really
be anything,
is to take
couldn't
the
it?
socket off upstairs and see what you got there.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing.
0.24. Well, yeah, okay, I concur with the numbers. You're getting high R1, R2 of, what was it, 0.87 or something at the highest point,
7, yeah.
which is quite high for the ring end to ends, but then the ring end to ends are nonsense. There's got to be some kind of figure eight or something going on there, perhaps from this garage conversion, perhaps from the kitchen, from somewhere, goodness knows where, perhaps from the junctioning when the new box went in.
Yeah.
This face is pulling some sockets off at the moment to take a look behind, isn't he? But could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. Looking at these nonsense numbers on here, 0.12, 0.12, 0.2, R1, R2, 0.08. Seriously. What he's done there is he's taken R1, added it to R2 and divided it by 4. Yeah, 0.12 plus 0.2 divided by 4, 0.08. Convenient, would you not agree? But no, it's 10 times higher than that. I suppose...
0.08, no, it's 100 times higher, isn't it? 0.8 would be 10 times higher.
Yes. Well, there you go. I never was very good at my arithmetic. Also, that number's only from the sockets. You have verified that each socket has a good earth fault loop path that's within
Yes.
specification. So that's something. But we've got to remember that this circuit is also serving lights. So our high R1, R2 is actually going to be off a light somewhere.
Yeah.
If we go around taking apart all the lights. They're all decorative fittings, aren't they? Which is a pain in the arse.
We don't have to have them all off.
The trouble with this camera is I'm never quite sure where I'm pointing it. I think I keep pointing it at a funny angle. I miss my old camcorder. You could just see what you were recording with that. Yeah, that's it.
Was that the VHS one?
No, the Betamax. We can't afford the VHS. It's spam sandwich o'clock. Nigel's the theory. Stand by for Nigel's theory.
I've only found 2 original sockets upstairs. And so I think we've just got a small original ring because the wiring is old. It's the old stranded, stuff.
Yeah.
Just stuffed in
From
the
the
old
60s, 70s.
Imperial.
But the other rooms, they don't seem to have these original single sockets that they start with, and they're all in different positions, so I don't think they're original.
So the ring end to ends might actually be accurate. It might
So
actually
I
be a
think
very
we've
small,
got a very small ring
just covering this
because
part of the house.
The living room doesn't seem to be part of the original ring that I've seen.
And so everything else is then.
So I think you've got 2
spurred off it, in
bedrooms. Basically, you've got 2 bedrooms with an original socket, and that's your ring that you're reading.
This is electrical archaeology, this, isn't it? It's digging up
Well,
past.
let's see if we can blow Nigel's theory out of the water by taking anything that looks like a ring off and sticking our tester on it. If we get consistent numbers from anything that looks like a ring of around what we get in 0.2 or whatever it was, 0.18.
1 something.
0.18.
Very short.
Then that you may be right. Maybe it is just a very short
And you just
ring that served just a couple of outlets and
something.
So the problem is you've got probably socket after socket after socket on the radio, haven't you?
yeah, it's all been
or junctions.
yeah. Well, that's not a ring, is it? Because you got that's coming into here to there and bounces off to there. So yeah, we've already got spurs off spurs.
But that's newer wiring than what I've dug out from these original upstairs.
There's brown and blue on there, so someone's added that. Someone's added this. What have we got here?
The ones at the back are on that subboard. They didn't come out in the R1 R2.
Have you? Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah.
Have you got an original socket upstairs?
I've got 2.
Yeah. Oh, it looks horrendous. This one here with the single CPC.
That's the spur.
That's a spur going off over there. But yes, the other wiring is original. Well, let's open it up. Stick the metal on it.
You've got a screwdriver or something.
I've got tools.
Well, they were downstairs.
What kind of a man comes to do a job with no tools?
I've already done it.
No kind of a man.
Up here and done this.
What about that one in the back of the cupboard? Do you think that's original?
It is. It's off the wall. This one and that one are the only ones I can find.
Yeah, because the original houses would have just been singles everywhere, wouldn't it?
And that's where I'm saying I think that small loop size you see, and it's just these.
There's probably loads of boxes onto the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where it'll be.
None of this was picked up on the EICR though, was it?
No, because they obviously.
So it's the old stranded cable.
Don't bother untwisting the CPCs. Let's just get line and neutral, and if they match up with what we're seeing downstairs, then I think you're probably right, Nigel.
Yeah,
Hate to admit it, but he's probably right. Yeah, there you go.
So it is a small ring then, with spurs on there.
Mm-hmm.
Nigel?
This should really be at 20 amps then, shouldn't it? At 20 amps for the whole house plus lighting.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
You got a kitchen with
you kind of.
appliances in. You got the oven off the socket, so.
We're just here to report what we see. Yeah, I'll leave you to put that together now.
Yeah, you take your tools. I'll come and get mine.
Das Wunderlied. Wunderbar. Made this 10 years ago out of an old extension cable. Didn't I make you one as well? I think
You
I made
did. I've got it in my garage.
Yeah. What a kind gentleman I am.
Can we?
One end of the Wanda is on the MET. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah. I might have to have that one down. Have a look at it. Yep, we got a number there.
What about the fan in the bedroom?
That's definitely class 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Bathroom?
The bathroom,
No, the bathroom's what's the name?
Yeah, well, I'm not getting the CPC reading. Oh, there's my head. Go up and do it. Who's stood on my cable?
Someone needs to invent the wireless wander lead, don't you think?
What you got?
Nothing.
It's in the brown wonder.
So that's
There's one in
there's
the
nothing
there's
there.
2 bedrooms at the front, Nigel.
There's another one of those fake ones.
It's plastic, isn't it? It's plastic.
Yeah. But I didn't get anything here.
No.
No.
So we've got a break in R2
Yeah.
on
Now,
these
I've
lights.
already tested at the switch here and I got one, so you should be good if I.
Yep.
And let's see. Anything there?
Nothing.
Okay.
So I think, well, we know we've got a break in R2. We know we've got a thing to these accessories. That's plastic. We need to have a look behind that one. We need to have a look behind that one downstairs.
Yeah.
Because we're not seeing any other thing there.
That's all right.
There you go.
Just can't. That's, you can feel the tension on that.
So there might be a CPC up there. It might just be just above the ceiling.
Yeah, it might be, but there's no.
Yeah. All
I
right.
feel it just stops there.
Okay. Again, why wasn't that picked up on the EICR? I said satisfactory in big letters. Class 1 fittings not earthed. Let's get some numbers out of this thing. Which also wasn't on the EICR, was it, Chief? Not that there was any limitation to say we're not testing this board because of X, Y, Z, just no mention of its existence. Hager. People rave about Hager and then they go and make stupid things like this. Look at all this space here doing nothing. And what you got to work with at the top here.
It's easy to slip them down a bit. And
Yeah. This is designed by somebody who doesn't have to use it.
It's a builder that's done this overall, isn't it?
0.25.
It's our builders working on.
somebody who thinks they know
0.26.
about that. There's probably never ever been a cert for all this stuff. I mean,
This is a real awkward bugger to work on. Hager. I'm getting no continuity on CPC, but then I might be on the wrong thing. That's...
on the 6-0.
We got an R1, R2 here, don't we?
No, I'm on the ring.
Oh, right.
Ring end to end. Just make sure I'm on the right.
Probably a couple of radials.
No, I've got R1 and RN.
Oh, right, okay.
I can't tell which one I'm supposed to be on. Oh, that's it. Well, if that is it, it's fucking high. 0.92. But this is a 2.5 R2 that we're taking, so we've got a loose connection on CPC at one of the sockets in
all
this.
the sockets I'm doing and checking.
We'll have to have a look, won't we?
Yeah.
I'll start in it.
I'll start with this one, I guess. Well, the board that wasn't worth looking at before, apparently. He's giving us some crap numbers. R1, RN are okay. R2. Had all the sockets off, haven't we? Had the wander lead out, had a bit of play around. We think we kind of know the area where things are bad, but high R2, high R1, R2.
It's hands tied, blindfolded, just.
Yeah. But this stuff, well, it could be anywhere. It's all buried. Even if you get the job of trying to fix it, well, you wouldn't want it, would you? Where would you start?
The full.
We don't think anything's plugged in, do we? And the continuity test says that there's no resistive load. So let's give it a zap at 250, and boom, that fails straight away. So there might still be something. That neon's off over there, isn't it?
Got a neon, haven't
Oh, well, that'll be it then.
Not that make any difference.
It will do line neutral. Yeah, there we go. Off scale 99.9 to the nines.
So we've got 999.
Well, if we were doing this on the, let's do it on the Metrel. The Mega at 250 only goes up to 99. So we are seeing perfect IR results in that respect. But the person who did the EICR before reckons that everything went up to 999, although this was never tested. Because this will have a higher scale on it. Well, I imagine we're still going to be off high. Over 200, yeah. So it's twice the scale on the at this range on the Metro.
I'll put the Mega on it. That's what we get.
I think that goes up to
999, yeah.
and well, not
If
at 250. It probably goes up to
250,
499
saying it goes
or 200.
just 200 at 250.
Is
I
it?
got a Mega, yeah.
Not that we care too much about line and neutral. Let's see what happens with respect to OIF. Stick on that one.
Get a grip.
Get a grip, Nige. Lovely. Right, well, I'll get that back together, and then that just leaves us lighting circuits. What lurks within? No seal on the supplier fuse. Our man must have pulled that to get the board in. Those tails are taking a bit of a scraping, haven't they? That tape around that brown one. Why is that taped? Oh, looks like a looped supply as well. Interesting. It's just the site that keeps on giving, this one, isn't it? I think we've seen everything we need to kind of see here for today, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been here a good while. The board is now labelled in some kind of way that is less insane. Look at this.
Tell you what you need to do, cut a hole in front of that.
Yeah, maybe. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Where's that bloke gone? Is he upstairs?
I don't think he's plugging stuff in.
I still haven't worked out who he is. I know I've seen him somewhere. Might have been on Instagram or something. I don't go on Instagram much.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
Is he going to come home with her?
I don't know. I'm getting a bit worried about this now. So, well, that's our first experience of a Verso board. Not our first experience of an EICR that is nonsense. A couple of firsts here, actually. First time we've seen a place that's been fused. Let's have the lights fused off the socket.
Circuit, yeah.
By design.
It looks like it was done, as you say, by design.
But you know what builders are like. Builders are thick and cheap.
Always happy.
It's like at the moment we keep getting called out to things like people wanting EV chargers in their garage, and they're building loads of new houses around here. What are they supplying to the garage? They're supplying a 2.5 16 amp supply.
Yeah.
I mean, it beggars belief, doesn't it?
It does.
And you look at it and go, well, we're going to have to get a new feed to your garage because that ain't going to drive your EV charger.
Yeah, so we've got to put, slash feed in a new cable.
How dense must they be? But there they are.
Builders.
Wankers.
Indeed.
Let's pack up and go to the pub. Magic.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Well, that was an interesting job, wasn't it?
It was, indeed.
It was it really. It's the first time I've seen, as we've already mentioned, lights fused from the sockets by design across the whole house. That's all weird.
It just seemed like if lights were an option.
But what can you do with a place like that? The homeowners are asking what we can do, and really, you've got to rewire it, haven't you? It's one of those where it was never a great installation from day one, the way it was done. It was always too few sockets, the lights shoehorned in with the sockets. I mean, you saw the original fuse box in the picture. It only had 3 circuits: immersion sockets, cooker. That was it. That was its core circuits. So it was never great. And it's been added to in a piecemeal way over the years by various owners. Now these very nice couple have bought it and inherited a bit of a headache. And there's not a great deal you can do short of saying, look, we're going to have to get under your floors, we're going to have to knock holes in your walls, we're going to get decent cabling to where it needs to be, because you can't really fuse it down, can you?
There's no way around it.
I think the main problem there is that kitchen, isn't it? That's on a radial, isn't it? It feels,
They are talking about having a new kitchen, but perhaps not for a couple of years. The good news about that, of course, is we do have a 6mm supply to DB2. We can perhaps do something with that, put in a better board than that horrible Hager thing. Maybe take some a 4mm radial off that, or something for new sockets. Something separate for cooking. There is the old cooker circuit. If we can find where that drops from 6mm to 2.5, we can do more with that.
Yeah.
But we can always use that as a dedicated 20-amp feed for something.
It just shows you, obviously, you've picked up the job on behalf of the customer on a second opinion, and the original installation company have come around and swapped the board out. All this should have been spotted if they carried out their EICR properly and efficiently today. And we didn't dig really deep either. We just found faults.
We've thrown a few hours at it today. We could have thrown a lot more time at it, but there comes a point where you just you can see what the main problems are, and it's not really worth delving too much deeper, because you know that the fix is going to be, let's get rid of what we can and get new in. You end up throwing sort of good time after bad to a certain extent. There, like you say, there are things that the EICR, if it had been done properly, would have picked up. For example, that junction box on the wall out the back. I don't think I showed that on camera. Suffice, other than just showing it earlier on. But that went live when the outside light switched on. So that's an example of an interior component sitting on an exterior wall just waiting to be filled up with water.
It's not even a good interior component.
No, you wouldn't use them these days anyway, would you?
It's going to be one of those. It's going to be an RCD fault straight away, isn't it? It's going to be tripping out.
Potentially, and that light switch, of course, that has been cross-connected between 2 circuits. I mean, for fuck's sake, how did that not get picked up? I mean, the guy knew that there was a problem there because it was tripping off his RCBOs. Obviously, it didn't cause any problems on the old way of doing things, because there was nothing monitoring nothing monitoring for a cross connection. But it puts in his RCBOs, they start tripping off, and the fix is to disconnect the lights.
Need that cross connection.
No, that didn't need to be there. Why was it even there?
Cables were in the box.
I just think the persons involved in swapping the board out haven't thought or traced the wiring out properly. That junction box next to the board that fed that light switch, really, that 6 amp,
It was all just a bit.
But also to the diversity of individual of circuits. One circuit does all the sockets and all the lighting. To find those 2 fuse connects, FCUs with one on the ceiling and one tucked away.
And to label it as sockets on the board and just call it radial circuits, a couple of 6 radial circuits on the circuit board.
The clue would have been when whoever would have powered up the board, and then the lights come on. What's going on here?
It's just not great.
No.
Not great. But this has been done by someone who's on the NICEIC DI scheme. Not accredited for EICR paperwork. But there you go. Anyway, an exciting day. Coffee shout out time. We got a little handful of generous coffee contributors. I say coffee, it's Carlsberg contributors.
Oh, I got tea.
I just got tea. First of all, thank you to Tall Andy, who says, "Enjoy, you schlag."
You slag.
I presume he's referencing that to you, Nigel.
Of course.
Do enjoy your tea. On the Haw front, we have RD Electrical. Great video, lads. Whichever video that was. Don't think we've done any great ones. Excuse me. A virgin.
Virgin.
Stephen the Virgin.
Stephen.
David, you're a flipping superstar, he says. Well, if Stephen says it, it must be true. Andy Hills, one of our regulars, who says that we're doing so many collabs with Bundy that we might need to split the coffee 3 ways.
Get out of it.
Nah,
No chance.
Bundy's not getting. Bundy gets enough
Yeah,
stuff
Bundy's got enough.
without taking anything out of our pockets. The venerable Mr. Humbug,
Yes.
another one of our regulars.
Yeah.
Poor old Mr. Humbug had to create an account on YouTube to enter our competition over the weekend.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, which should be ending on
What is your
Wednesday. The Sack of Cack competition, which we filmed. It's on the Nick Bundy video if you haven't seen it, and there's a good chance this video will go out after it's ended. In which case, don't bother. But Mr. Humbug went onto YouTube most reluctantly in order to enter that competition
Well
specifically. Yes, I'd like to say well done, but I think your number was a bit out. So sorry about that. And finally, Tom at Nautilus Electrics. That's still the best electrical channel on YouTube. Now, Tom suggests that we should be more like Rick and Morty, where
Yeah, Baru gets to keep doing that.
yeah, well, I think
Sounds
I'm
like you.
very much the alcoholic Rick, but he thinks that like Rick and Morty, there should be 1 in every 10 episodes where you get to be in control, Nige, a Nigel adventure. No, yeah.
I think I did hint to this to you.
Yeah,
right.
but he also suggests that we should get together with Photonic Induction, who is a far more popular YouTuber. Popular YouTubers don't want to get together with us, but he's yes, he is as
We'll
mad
just
as
bring the numbers down.
mad as a box of frogs. That bloke.
Because I do have someone that I've got to
Oh
mention.
yes, Nige has a special mention.
I did say I'd mention. I was at a music festival, Blues, in Worcester last
Gabriel's
week.
Pride 22.
That's right. And I met a guy who spotted me in the crowd, and sorry mate, I was already half cut, and so I'd like to say hello to Neil, and thanks for approaching me while I was on holiday. Thanks mate.
You made his day, Nige.
Wow.
Cheers Neil.
Yes.
So next time, Nigel, you must sign autographs.
I'll tell you what, Neil, you must have some pretty good eyeballing skills, because Nige says he was wearing his Nazi hat and his dark glasses.
Was that your cowboy hat, Nige?
Hmm?
Is that your cowboy hat?
It was his cowboy hat.
me
You've got corks
Tilly
around
hat.
it. It's got
Tilly
corks around
hat.
it.
Should have corks round. So that about wraps up all the coffee shout-outs. Thank you for your contributions.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for having me today.
Look, mate, who the fuck are you?
I am